Good day, everyone. How are you? I hope you are doing great. So, I am Cheryl Satore from Group 1, and for Session 10, I am going to discuss a case study about the four Philippine Constitution. So, are you ready to explore the defining moments of the Philippine Constitution, play a journey toward freedom and democracy? So, we will have a travel time today, and each stop will reveal a new constitution crafted in response to the country's changing needs and aspirations. So buckle up as we travel four landmark periods, which is 1899, 1935, 1973, and 1980s. Start now by defining what is a Philippine Constitution. So it is the supreme law of the land, serving as the foundation for the country's legal and political system. So it outlines the structure of the government, defines the powers and duties of its branches, and guarantees the fundamental rights and freedom of its citizens. So over the years, the Philippines has adopted several constitutions, and each reflecting the historical and political changes of its time. So our first stop is the 1899 Constitution, or also known as the Malolos Constitution. So did you know that this constitution was written in Spanish? Okay, so which was the official language of the Philippines at that time. So due to the over 3 centuries of Spanish colonization, so the use of Spanish in the Constitution reflected the linguistic and cultural influence of Spain in the Philippines. So moreover, let's talk now to the historical context of this constitution. So it was drafted during the Philippine Revolution, so against the Spanish colonial rule. So the revolution was a response to centuries of Spanish oppression and the desire for independence. So the constitution was ratified by the Malolos Congress on January 21, 1899. So in Malolos, Bulacan. So thus, the significance of this constitution established the first Philippine Republic, making it the first Republican constitution in Asia. So it marked a significant milestone in Asian history, showcasing the Filipinos' capability to establish a republican government. So it emphasized national sovereignty and civil rights, and it also included provisions for individual rights and freedoms, reflecting the revolutionary ideals of liberty and equality. And also the separation of church and state. So this was a progressive move to ensure that the religious institutions did not interfere with governmental affairs. So promoting secular governance, the Magulos Constitution was a symbol of the Filipinos' desire for independence and self-governance. And now fast forward to 1935. So the Philippines is now a U.S. Commonwealth governed by the 1935 Constitution. So did you know that this Constitution was amended in 1940 to create a bicameral Congress? So yes, bicameral, replacing the unicameral National Assembly. So the original 1935 Constitution established a unicameral National Assembly. So, however, in 1940, it was amended to create a bicameral legislature consisting of the Senate and the House of Representatives to provide a more balanced and representative legislative body. So now let's talk to the historical evolution of this constitution. So it was created during the American colonial period as part of the Tidings-McDuffie Act, which provided for a 10-year transition period to full independence. So the constitution was drafted by a constitutional convention and approved by a plebiscite. So, unsa man din ang plebiscite? So, when we say plebiscite, means that it is the electoral process by which an initiative of the Constitution is approved or rejected by the people. So, ang power na sa people. So, this Constitution led the foundation for a democratic government with a presidential system, a Bill of Rights, and a bicameral legislature. Second, it established the Commonwealth of the Philippines. So this transitional government was designed to prepare the Philippines for full sovereignty. So next is it introduced a presidential system and bicameral legislature, means it modeled the government structure after the United States. So with an executive branch led by a president and a legislature composed of a Senate and House of Representatives. And also, it included a Bill of Rights. So again, when we say Bill of Rights, means it ensured the protection of individuals' liberties and set the foundation for democratic governance.
But before the 1973 Constitution, did you know that there is a 1943 Constitution existing in the Philippines? Yes, during the World War II, the Philippines was occupied by the Japanese forces, and in 1943, the Japanese established the Second Philippine Republic and promulgated the 1943 Constitution. So this constitution created a republican state with Jose P. Laurel as president, and it vested executive power in the president, who was elected by the National Assembly, and established a judiciary independent of the executive and legislative branches. However, the 1943 Constitution was largely seen as a puppet government under the Japanese control and was not recognized by the United States or the Commonwealth government in exile.
So now we arrive in 1973 and the air feels tense. So Manukha. So under the President Ferdinand Marcos, the martial law has shifted the balance of power. So did you know that this constitution was the first to include a provision for a prime minister? So when we say prime minister, it is a possession held by Marcos himself, and this constitution introduced a parliamentary style government which included the position of prime minister, and Ferdinand Marcos Sr. appointed himself as the prime minister, consolidating his power and control over the government. While for the historical context of this constitution, it was enacted during the martial law period, so under again by Marcos Sr., and it was ratified through a controversial referendum, okay, amidst allegations of fraud and coercion. So this period was actually marked by political unrest and the consolidation of power by Marcos. So while the significance of this constitution, okay, first it extended presidential powers. So the constitution allowed Marcos to rule by decree, okay, effectively bypassing the legislative process and consolidating his control. Okay? And second, it reflected the political climate of martial law. So the changes in the constitution were designed to support the authoritarian regime and suppress opposition. So in short, the 1973 Constitution was marked by significant political changes and was used to legitimize the extension of martial law.
Before the 1987 Constitution, there is a 1986 Constitution. During the People Power Revolution led to the ousting of Ferdinand Marcos and the establishment of a new government under President Corazon Aquino. This constitution is a provisional freedom constitution wherein it was promulgated by President Aquino to restore democracy and recognize the government. It incorporated certain provisions from the 1973 Constitution, such as the Bill of Rights, and emphasized the protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Okay, now for our final destination is the year 1987. So after the People Power Revolution, the Philippines is now writing a new chapter with the 1987 Constitution. And did you know that this constitution includes a provision for the creation of autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao and the Cordilleras, recognizing the distinct cultural identities of these areas. So the inclusion of the provisions for autonomous regions in the 1987 Constitution was a recognition of, again, the unique cultural and historical identities of the people in Muslim Mindanao and the Cordillera. So it aimed to provide these regions with greater self-governance, okay, and address long-standing issues of marginalization and conflict. So furthermore, let's talk now to the historical context of the 1987 Constitution. So it was actually drafted after the People Power Revolution, or also known as the EDSA Revolution, in 1986, which ended the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos, and also the revolution was a peaceful uprising that demonstrated the people's demand for democratic governance. So in short, nabalik na ang democracy at this time. So the constitution was ratified on February 2, 1987 through a national plebiscite. So while for the significance of this constitution, first it restored democratic institutions. So the 1987 Constitution established the separation of powers among the three branches of government. So unsa man tong tulo ka three branches of the government? First is the executive branch, headed by the president and responsible for enforcing laws and running the government. So next is the legislative branch. So the legislative branch composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they are responsible for making laws and judicial. And now for the judicial branch, headed by the Supreme Court, which is they are also responsible for interpreting laws and administering justice. So second is the Constitution's threatened civil liberties. So Constitution included comprehensive provisions for the protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms. And lastly is it emphasized human rights and social justice. So it focused on ensuring social equity and protecting the rights of marginalized groups. So in short, the 1987 Constitution is known for its emphasis on the human rights, social justice, and the separation of power. So katong tulo ka branches of the government. So our journey now through time has shown us the Philippines' evolution through four distinct constitutions. So each era tells us a story of adaptation, resilience, and enduring desire for true democracy. So this document not only shaped the nation's governance but also forged its identity. So a testament to the people's unyielding spirit across the centuries. Okay, and now to conclude the evolution of the Philippine Constitution, it reflects the country's journey through colonial rule, independence, authoritarianism, and the restoration of democracy. So each constitution played a crucial role in shaping the nation's governance and protecting the rights of its citizens. So understanding this historical evolution of the different constitution, it helps us appreciate actually the dynamic nature of constitutional law and its impact on the Filipino people's aspirations for freedom and justice. So ending this video with a quote: a nation's constitution is not just a legal document, it is the embodiment of its people's hopes, struggles, and aspirations for a just and equitable society. Feel free to share your thoughts and perceptions, everyone, about our Philippine constitutions in the comment box below. And enjoy learning. Thank you so much for watching this video.